Hello. Today we will try to connect these two things like the Indo Pak conflict of 1965 with Arthashastra. So, for that, I have framed a question using examples of 1965 Indo Pak War, explain how principles of Kautilya's Arthashastra, such as the four upayas, Mandal theory, and concept of Kuta Yuddha and Paraksha Yuddha, were applied differently by India and Pakistan. What do these differences reveal about the importance of intelligence, alliance building, and moral restraint in the modern warfare? Kautilya's Arthashastra is ancient wisdom, but it is still applicable to the modern warfare. The treaty was written about 2 millennium ago, was not merely text on the administration or economics. It was a complete treatise on the statecraft, strategy, and warfare. It emphasized on realpolitik, seeing war as an extension of state policy governed by calculations and not emotions. Mandala theory, viewing neighbors as potential enemies and distant powers as natural allies. Four upayasa, that is Cham, Dana, Bheda, Danda, can be utilized in the various forms to achieve your objectives. Matsya theory or Matsya Nyaya, it is basically the law of the fish where strong devour the weak unless protected by wise and powerful ruler. In 1965 Indo-Pak War, both sides unknowingly reflected elements of Arthashastra in their strategic calculations, though India applied them more prudently and Pakistan misread them through ambition. Pakistan's Op Gibraltar and Grand Slam mirrored Kautilya's principle, but distorted by political overconfidence. Kautilya advised the use of subversion, that is Bheda, before forcing Danda. Pakistan attempted this through Operation Gibraltar, sending thousands of infiltrators into Jammu and Kashmir to incite rebellion. The intent was psychological and political to divide the Kashmiri population, disrupt administration, and prepare the ground for conventional intervention. However, infiltrators found no local support. Instead, civilians alerted Indian forces. Thus, Pakistan's Beth backfired, revealing a poor grasp of Kautilya's first principle of accurate intelligence, samsta, and societal understanding before war. When infiltration failed, Pakistan turned to Operation Grand Slam, a massive armored thrust towards Akhnu, aimed at cutting India's Jammu and Kashmir lifeline. Kautilya warned the premature use of the broad force without diplomatic timing, leading to Vyasana, that is calamity. The operation ignored Arthashastra's stress on ensuring unity of purpose and strategic surprise. Coordination failures between Corps and division and political interference from Rawalpindi led to operational confusion and ultimate failures. Kautilya's mandala system teaches that a wise ruler strengthens alliance before attacking a stronger adversary. Pakistan, by isolating itself diplomatically and depending solely on the Western support, ignored this timeless principle. While the US imposed an arms embargo, China remained bystander, leaving Pakistan without the allies in its mandala required. In Kautilya's term, Pakistan became the short-sighted conqueror who starts war without evaluating the state strengths. Thus, Pakistan's approach mirrored Arthashastra's teaching but in inversion. Its strategy was textbook Kautilyan in form but not in essence. Indian strategy. India's conduct, especially under Lt Gen Harbaksh Singh, showed a pragmatic restraint an integrated approach in line with Arthashastra. Kautilya advised balancing diplomacy, that is Sham, and force Danda. India exercised restraint even after run-of-Kutch skirmishes in April 1965, using diplomacy first. But when Operation Gibraltar and Grand Slam crossed limits, India decisively used Danda, expanding the war into Punjab and threatening Lahore and Sialkot. This was classic Arthashastra: when enemy is strong at front, strike where he is weak. By opening multiple fronts, 15 corps in Kashmir, 11 corps towards Lahore, and 1 corps towards Sialkot, India forced Pakistan into a reactive posture. Kautilya distinguishes between open war, that is Praksha Yuddha, and the concealed war, Kuta Yuddha. India skillfully balanced both. In Kashmir, counter-infiltration operations like the capture of Hajipir Pass. In Punjab and Sialkot, conventional offensives that shifted initiative strategically. Lt Gen Harbaksh Singh's theatre-wide design reflected Kautilya's stress on Yoga Sema, securing one's own base before expanding the battlefront. Kautilya emphasized that ruler must act not for glory but for stability. India's operations were limited in depth and designed to compel Pakistan to redeploy, not to occupy Lahore. This restraint upheld moral legitimacy, a key Kautilyan value, while achieving strategic parity. Using the terrain and resources wisdom. At Khemkaran, Indian forces turned soggy fields and the canals into a deadly tank trap, annihilating Pakistan's one armored division at Asal Uttar. This exemplified Kautilya's Yuddha Shakti principle: the wise conquer by using the ground and the season. Similarly, in Sialkot, one corps used maneuver warfare to fix enemy's armored reserves, a modern adaptation to Kautilyan's Mantra Yuddha, strategic containment through deception. So, all these things have been put in a table in which we have put what India did and what Pakistan did. I suggest you have a closer look at it. Overall, the lessons: Kautilya teaches that war must serve clear political purpose. India's limited offensive met this. Pakistan's did not. Unity of command: Arthashastra insists that king and commander must act as one mind, something India maintained under Harbaksh Singh, unlike Pakistan's divided civil-military relationship. Kautilya's dictum, "the enemy's fear is half the victory," was realized by India after Asaluttar and Dogra. India's civilian support in Kashmir proved that moral power remains an intangible force multiplier. To conclude, we can say the 1965 Indo Pak War was not only a clash of armies but of philosophies. Pakistan adopted Arthashastra's language of intrigue and expansion but ignored its wisdom of balance and preparation. India, guided by the prudence, patience, and strategic foresight, unknowingly embodied Kautilya's essence, blending moral restraint with the military realism. In Kautilya's own words, victory is not in the conquest of land, but in securing the mind and will of the adversary. By the end of war, Pakistan lost both in and India, following strategic silent logic of Arthashastra, gained the one thing that mattered most: strategic credibility, and moral ascendancy. With this, we have come to the end of this presentation. Thank you.